All right, everyone. Eminem came out and dissed President Trump. Oh no, it's so offensive to us. Now here, I'm gonna weigh in on this, and I'm not gonna be a hypocrite here because Eminem was like fun to listen to. You were talking through the 2000s. It was hilarious actually because it pissed everyone's parents off. And I think that some people who are like younger now, they're like a decade younger, you don't quite understand exactly how funny it was that somebody would say the sort of things that he said would be on the radio and actually on the charts. Because it was something that was largely unheard of. Like the edgier side of music was barely. You had a lot of the edgy rock, but you didn't have something that was more palatable as well to maybe like the Gen Xer crowd at the same time that the younger millennials were looking for something to piss people that were like baby boomers off. So Eminem really hit that sweet spot at the time. And he made his mark by pissing people off. He pissed off Washington, D.C., regardless, by the way, of who it was. At the time, like the Al Gores of the country lingering on were way, way more offended than like the Bushes. Bush just sat there and chuckled and said, hey, the kids these days. Now, Gore's wife was the one that wanted to ban and censor everything and put like homosexual warning stickers on stuff. And Eminem, in all honesty, when he first came out, one of the things he was known for was homophobia. Was for calling everyone he didn't like a certain word that now would be far less acceptable now, I think, than everything else that he says. It's funny, the least unacceptable sort of slurs that he hurled around back, we're talking in the 90s or the 2000s, are now the most offensive to more people. And things that he said then that offended a lot of people, like basically, oh, fuck the war, fuck the president. Now all of a sudden it's like, oh, you know, that's fine. It's fairly normal. It's, you know, get a little chuckle. But I'm not going to be a hypocrite here. He's been doing this for years. He did it to Bush. Ray tore him a new asshole verbally on a regular basis. It was funny because he deserved it. I may disagree with his views on Trump completely, but yeah, he's being consistent. And he's still good at rapping. He can still rhyme. I may not be a big fan of rap, but he certainly can. I think that perhaps people should listen to some Immortal Technique. Free Speech was some good shit. And you won't get any love for the left in there either. It's one thing, if I've got one criticism for him that I can levy against Eminem, it's that his criticism of government policy was considerably less under the Obama years. I think the idea was, he's left and he's black, so somehow this makes a big difference. But his policies were fucking the same as Bush's anyway. They were exactly the same. Oh, let's drone people, that'll solve things, give money to these militants. You know, we gotta remember, and so, you know, salute the flag and go bomb civilians while putting young people from this country out there in some godforsaken hellhole of a country so that they can get shot at. That's basically Obama and Bush at the same time. And we didn't get much from Eminem when it came to opposing he would use some of the spooky dystopian imagery, which he had used before. But he didn't really name drop Obama. I don't remember hearing any epic 10-minute disses of Barack Obama and how dumbass he was for killing people and being basically the Democratic George W. Bush. I just don't remember that. Maybe I was out to lunch at the time. Somebody can refer me to one, and if so, that'd be pretty funny. But he's going to attack politicians. Been doing that for a long time. Anyone proclaiming that they're offended... being offended is why he had a career in the first place. That's what he was trying to do. He got way more free publicity. Trump does this too. Eminem's doing basically what Trump does. Hey, I'm going to be really, really offensive here. I'm going to say something off the wall. Everyone's going to be talking about it. More people will be talking about me. It doesn't matter if it's positive or negative, because then they'll be clinging on, hoping that more craziness comes, and I'm going to say something normal, and they're still going to find it kind of exciting because they think I'm exciting. That's basically the thing. And Eminem, he's like an older dude now, too. I think he's middle-aged or something. Isn't he in his 40s? Isn't he getting up there towards his 50s? Or maybe he's already is 50. The time flies. What can I say? I'm losing track of things. I'm losing my marbles here because of a lack of nicotine. What can I say? But, yeah, he's older now, but, I mean, apparently he's edgy enough to piss off millions of people. I can admire him for that. I think it's funny. It's better to piss people off. When people get sensitive and they're like, well, there's certain things that shouldn't be said. Now, fuck you. Everything should be said. Nothing should be so offensive that it's taboo to talk about. Yeah, that includes the worst aspects of society, the ones that a lot of people would rather ignore and pretend don't exist. As for this, it's just a political diss. What are you so fucking afraid of? Grow up and get real. You're acting the same way that a lot of people did 20 years ago. When Eminem still had his baby voice. It was great to see people get really pissed. And they're like, oh, goodness, is somebody, we need to call the FCC immediately because he's talking about violence. It's going to cause school shootings because he talks about violence. It's going to cause kids to use drugs. It's going to cause kids to hate the country. Did any of this happen? No, not really. No, some of these millennials became like a totally far right. As for the guns, yeah, they might have become pro-gun, but I don't see them shooting things up on a regular basis. No, it's happening in other parts of the world way more than it's happening here at this point. Thanks to crazy ass domestic policies in parts of Europe. But no, who has a fucking problem with Eminem? He's been doing this all along. You're pretending, I think, at this point to be offended. Oh, we must respect the president. Oh, we must respect Donald Trump. No, he doesn't have to. He can say whatever he wants. Fuck the FCC. There should be absolutely zero censorship on radio stations, too. We need to crack the spine of the FCC. We need to get rid of them altogether. Clear Channel, too. We need to get rid of them completely. Fuck the FCC. They shouldn't exist. I've thought that all along, too. There's a good song by, I think, the band Cheap Sex called I've Been Raped by the FCC. That was funny. Again, Bush era. And you didn't see as much of this. People who don't really remember the Bush era, do you remember how much there was a struggle between censorship and freedom to speak and express yourself at the time? It's almost as bad now. We're going through another similar period on that token where this time you've got people, instead of the Tipper Gore neolibs, it's like the whole establishment complex is trying to censor things. Unfortunately, this time, some of the cool kids of the last struggle are pro-censorship and like anti-gun and stuff. And we have to stand against them. Now, that has nothing to do with Eminem dissing Donald Trump. He can criticize him if he wants. You don't like the message? Well, that's fine. At least he can rhyme. There are a lot of people in hip-hop who can't. They just, they mumble, or they use a lot of auto-tune, or they make up some other weird-sounding bullshit to cover up the fact that they're basically talentless. At least Eminem has talent. He's certainly got enough talent to market himself, along with all of his friends there. No, dude, you don't fuck with Dre. But I'm not a huge rap fan or a hip-hop fan, certainly. But, come on. Stop pretending to be offended when you're clearly not. Some of you are even find it funny the fact that he just swears a lot. Like, that was another big thing. Oh, he said fuck. Wow. Back then, to little suburban Jimmy and Sally, it was a big thing. Now it's not so big because you can use YouTube, and so some of it falls flat, but still, I think he'd say what he wants. That's about all. Peace out.